Hey guys, I know this is gonna be a little while late because it starts at 12 p.m. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the stream. I know that you guys can obviously see a little bit more than me, so I was just adjusting the camera. I don't know why that's like that.
Just make sure I'm not on video, but hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Geo.
Spam hype in the chat, guys.
What's a spam?
Spam hype in the chat. If you guys do wanna see me over on like gaming videos and stuff, go over to Twitch. Yeah, I'm gonna probably post a NHL video today or stream it. Probably both on Twitch and YouTube. Hey guys, can you hear me now? Let the camera focus, let the camera focus. Sorry about all that. I'm just trying to adjust how it looks on screen. I'm trying to make sure you guys get the whole Zoom call. Hello, hello, testing, testing, testing. Okay, it does work. Just trying to adjust it, guys. Okay, there we go. Yikes. Just trying to adjust it, guys. Can you hear this one? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear this one? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, because I have 2 of these just so you can hear what they're going to be saying. Sorry, the thing isn't focusing, guys. Dang it, the mic fell down. Okay, it's better now, that's better. Hey, there we go. Where's that mic? That fell. If you're not already, please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Yeah. If you're not already, please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Trying to give you guys a better angle. Here we go. I think that's all. Yeah, you guys got the whole screen. What's going on? Why is it like that, guys? Is this wobbling? Is this better, guys? Is this better?
Yes.
I saw the invite. You got Patrick Della's.
Yeah, he's part of design.
Hello. 1 minute, guys, until it starts. It's already 11:59. Let's go. Hello. 1 minute, guys, until it starts. It's already 11:59.
Let's go.
What is this rainbow stuff?
The scenes access. We're excited to as well. We've been watching a lot of those old Panther games and those classic games from early on in the franchise history, 93, 94, and of course the magical run back in 96. And we're pleased in this edition of Chats with the Cats. We're joined by a couple of Panthers alumni. You recognize them, you know them, and I can't wait for you guys. You've submitted your questions. So let's introduce Ed Jovanovski is with us, as well as the Panthers' first captain, Brian Scrudlin. And good morning, guys. I know it's the morning for you, Brian, in Calgary. And welcome. We're so great and excited to have you with us and that. So let's get started. Our territory members that have been so loyal, and some of them that are on this chat here today have been with the Florida Panthers as season ticket holders and being a part of what we call the territory members and family for well over 20 years. So they've submitted some questions, but let's hear from you guys. Brian, how are you doing? And Eddie, you can follow up. How are you doing right now? How are you getting through this pause in the NHL season?
Well, thanks, Randy. It's a pleasure to be here and join you today. I've been looking forward to this since you announced this a couple of weeks back. So, and it's great to see Eddie as well, and excited to partake and answer some questions here today.
Yeah, good to see everyone. Screw, it's been a while. You never age, buddy. You look good. Randy, we've been, catching up here and there on the phone. So thanks for doing this.
Well, I'm hoping everybody, Eddie, maybe give an update. You've still got some kids that are in school. I know you're here in South Florida. Maybe give it an update what you're doing on a day-to-day and like a lot of people with the kids around not being in school and the normal activities, sporting activities and that.
Well, yeah, I think that's been kind of the biggest adjustment. And as much as our doctors, our nurses, all the frontline people that we have so much appreciation for the work that they've done, you got to lump in the teachers for the job that they do with our children on a daily basis. It's been tough on them. I think I have 2 7th graders, the twins that are adjusting, learning the whole Zoom thing, virtual classes. And I have a junior that's back from college that's getting her final work done and writing tests. And
some of these
then I have
questions
a senior
that
that's
were from
going to be off to college, so enrolled in school, not knowing what the future holds. Are they starting in the fall? So adjustment in that area with the kids, but keeping busy, doing some home projects just like everybody else. Enjoying my boat finally, something that I've kind of put on the wayside and haven't used in a while. So than that, and just being a dad, staying busy, cooking a lot at home. So it's been tough not watching sports and that whole thing. And in my first year into working, we went to Panthers and Fox. So I'm really missing the game, and hopefully we get back soon, but more importantly, everybody stays safe.
Brian, I know you're out in Alberta. You and Lana, you told me everybody is safe and that your kids are older and that. So, and I know that maybe give us a little bit of update. You've really dedicated yourself, you and Lana have really dedicated yourself in fundraising and the charitable side of some great organizations out in Alberta. Start with how you're coping with this pause and what we're going through with the virus and that, and maybe give us a little bit of an update. What's keeping you busy?
Well, all is good out west here. We're everybody's of course maintaining their distance. Social distancing is a big thing. Lots of parts, of course, the warmer weather. We're a little antsy to all get out, but. We watch it constantly, those frontline workers, and Eddie, you mentioned it, but thank God for them, and thank God that we're able to still at least live some type of a normal lifestyle. Great, growing, families are growing, dogs are joining the families right, left, and center. I've had it's been a wonderful time as far as being able to clean up and clear out some things. So, for instance, when I was down in the man cave, I happened to come across this one. I don't know if you remember this or not, Randy, but the Four Amigos, the night we went off to West Point. So there's been some fun things. I pulled stuff out that I thought that I'd lost. We moved after we were hit with the flood here in Calgary in 2013. We moved. I thought that I'd lost everything in the flood. On top of my garage, I had a ton of boxes. So they got moved over to the new place, and in the last couple of weeks, they got opened up. Some of the nostalgia and keepsakes that I came across, I was so excited to. Yeah, I thought that I'd lost everything, so it was so kind of nice. But all is good here. We're looking forward to some even better normality moving forward. However, we're not going to be busting out. Kids have been over for a couple of dinners. Still keeping our social distancing, but all is pretty good considering.
All right, well, and it's great to have you guys, and again, thanks to all of our territory members for joining us here today, and thanks to Dex Imaging as well, or friends over at Dex Imaging that help us bring this to you. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Let's get right into the questions here, because we got so many. We were just flooded with questions, and we thank our territory members for sending in. The first one is a great one, and it's for both of you. Eddie, you can start. It's from Paul in Margate, and he said, who was the toughest player you ever played with or against, and can you share a brief story about them besides me?
Well, good. Randy, you were tough. I got it. My first year with the Panthers, Paul Laws was obviously a guy that, as we're talking Panthers, comes to mind. Paul used to fight Enrico Ciccone, Rudy Postchuk on a regular basis. And I sat next to Paul on the plane a few times, and the poor guy around his knuckles, you'd see there after on the plane ride. Sometimes down to the bone. So there's a guy that played hard, did his job, really protected. Guys like myself, Screwy, really did whatever it took to be part of the team, and he would definitely was our guy, our cop on the team, definitely. So I would say team tough, a lot of the guys. But individually, Paul Laws was probably one of the tougher heavyweights that I've been around.
What about
as soon as you were done fighting Loser, along came Mr. Brent Severn. you got to go from Loser to Severn, and then by that time, Loser had re-established some, and he went after you again.
Right. Just one and done with these guys. They literally fought, and they were kind of setting up another meeting there in the penalty box to make sure right when they got out that they were ready to go again. So, these guys, I always say, slept with the lights on. Man. These guys were tough back when the day when these guys would really go toe to toe, and you'd see some gruesome times, right, Screwy? Crazy how things. One story I can say, we were in Buffalo, and there was Terry Carpenter, and there was kind of a melee on the ice. And Charlie Huddy was playing. He grabbed me at the time, bear hugged me, almost literally choked me to death. But Terry Carpenter fought, Rob Ray. And the cut that, I was already in the locker room, when Terry Carpenter came into the locker room, his cut must have been 2 or 3 inches on top of his forehead, and it was just kind of, blood everywhere, and I was like, "Oh boy, this is the NHL, man. It's crazy." The old odd. So you lump in Carpenter into that group too.
Hey, Eddie, talk a little bit about, because I know the fans and a lot of our questions, and for both of you, the playoff series and that. And Eddie, it was classic when you guys met the Philadelphia Flyers, and you and Eric Lindros went toe to toe. And the hits and the competitiveness. Talk about what that was like against. You're a big man. They'll go up against even a bigger man in Eric Lindros.
Yeah, he had a frightening kind of complexion kind of coming at you. He was 240 pounds, really thick, and I always said that you could actually hear Big E skating because he was he wasn't that fluid skater. I mean, you can really hear his skates chopping in the ice. But just going back to the start of that series, it wasn't Dougie McLean or Lindy Ruff putting me up against Lindros. I think it kind of evolved in that series where I had a shift that I was up against him, had a good shift, played him hard, and then it ended up seeing I was kind of matched up against him when we make that change. But I think for me, being young, not knowing any differently, I had this one playoff series under my belt. I knew the competition was going to get stiffer. Just had to be on my toes, and I felt it as a challenge. I mean, this is a guy that I grew up watching as well, and to battle against him with my teammates was great. But just doing my job.
Screwy, why don't you take it over? The same question, Paul from Margate. Great question. Who's one of the tougher players that you played with and played against? You played center. You played against a lot of big, strong, talented centermen over your long career. What are some of your thoughts, and what did you remember?
Well, I'll reiterate, first of all, and agree with Eddie in regards to the Louster thing. That was, Paul was definitely our cop back in the day. The toughest guy for me to play against back in my day, and especially in that small little Boston Gardens, was Cam Neely. He could skate, he could play the game as well as anybody, talented, but he was also really tough, and he loved the physical side of it. So I'll never forget the one night, and I got beat up a lot, let's face it, but the one night we're in Boston, he's working me over pretty good. Mike McPhee comes in and gives Neely a shot, says, screw you, Neely, and Neely says to him, he says, what'd you say? And McPhee repeats it again, and Neely says, what are you, a parrot? Well, Mike and I looked at one another. Here we are in the heat of battle, and all of a sudden you go from, wanting to rip each other's heads off to, I just turned around, we started laughing, and skated all the way back to the bench. So there were a lot of tough guys. YouTube, I've been YouTubing a lot, as we were talking beforehand. I couldn't imagine all the fights that you got into, Moles. The guys you grabbed on. So
and they lost every fight too, but whatever.
And one of the toughest guys I ever played with was back in junior hockey. I had the toughest hockey line, I think, of all time. I had Dave Brown on my right side, Bruce Gordon on my left side. When I would, the boys would start taking runs at me, I'd just say, hey, have you met Dave and Bruce yet?
All right. Here's another question. This is from Ching and from Miami. And here's the question. Do you still keep in contact with the team that went to the finals in 1996? Eddie, both of you guys, what's your contact? I know you guys keep in contact, and there's the Niedermeyer and the Mellenbees and that. But what about some of the players like the Johan Garpenlofs and the Robert Svelas and that? These fans want to know if you guys are able to. And I know we had a reunion, another reunion a couple years ago, and that a lot of guys came in. But how do you keep in contact, and how many do you keep in contact, Ed?
Well, I think the guys that you mentioned, we don't go too long without kind of catching up. Johan Garpenlov, I actually, when you brought him up, I saw him. He's doing work for the national team in Sweden, so I saw him at the rink this season. Other than that, we got Devo that's obviously around here, these guys. But as far as the guys in Europe, there hasn't been much, contact on when Randy, with your efforts on coordinating, these get-togethers, these reunions, you see the emails, so you kind of email them on the side how they're doing. But I think primarily for the most part, the guys that are in North America, not on a daily, weekly, monthly, but overall still kind of keep in touch.
How about you, Screwy? How was your contact with a lot of the guys? Now, you played for a number of teams. You're a very proud member of the alumni for the Montreal Canadiens, the Dallas Stars, the Calgary Flames. You work for that organization as well. You keep in contact with a lot of not only Panther alumni, but other alumni from the NHL that you played with?
I do. It's off and on, hit and miss. You're always getting updates. Sometimes it's through the saddest things, as we all were in contact here recently with the pastor of Scott Tinkler's father. it's things like that, times like that, we definitely are reaching out to one another, and it's always great to catch up and find out about the families. When Eddie first started, he was an 18-year-old. To watch him grow and see his career grow and the family grow, it's been a real pleasure to follow these guys and stay in touch.
Sticking with you, Brian, this next question from our territory members, David in Fort Lauderdale. This question for you: how has the game changed since you were a Panther?
Well, put it this way, I would have went to jail for the hooking that I did versus what you can and can't do today. It's amazing. I love the speed of the game. I love there's so much of a change. Talent, skill-wise, there isn't a player that doesn't have skill. Not that there wasn't back in our day as well. People always mention those types of things. There was I think back in our day, and you look at all of the roster from number one guy to 23, I think that they were probably the best in their back in their bantam, their midget days, junior days, etc. They were great, the best of what they did. And now there's so much training, off-ice training, strength training that goes on through hockey-specific training. I've watched these videos of stick handling. I think I'm going to bring out a video about slashing, hooking, holding, cross-checking, the things that I was very talented in back in my day. But it's amazing. I'm really enjoying the game. I love the speed, and I love the simple fact that when it comes playoff time, they're still as physical. It's still, I think, the greatest game in the world.
This question here is Barry from Davie. He grew up in Montreal and followed the Canadiens his whole life. He's transplanted here to South Florida. Question for both of you. Eddie, start off with how important were those fans in the early years, not only the first 2 years where the team just missed the playoffs and the electricity of the first couple of years, and then include the 96 year and the run. How important were those fans? Now, a lot of people do remember, but maybe some of our newer fans don't remember. Before that, the playoffs in 96, the team went on a terrible skid. Yet I remember the fans in Miami that were so supportive in that arena. Ed, how important were those fans in the early years, not only with the team, but your progression and development as well?
Well, it was huge, and I think they really developed that closeness, to the players, and for me being spoiled, my first year having that electricity with the fans on, having a really solid, consistent year where the building was full. We were talk of the town. It was, what's the thing to do tonight? Is go to the Panther game, and obviously during the playoffs, just leaving the rink, we had to park across, the street, and not the nicest area, to be honest. A little bit late at night, you're a little bit worried, but you always felt safe because the fans lined it all the way, to the parking lot that was fenced around. So even practice, even in Lighthouse Point when we practiced, I mean, how many fans would come to practice after signing autographs, fans bringing meals to players, cookies. So the closeness was there, and they love their hockey here in South Florida. And it started then with guys like Screwy being the first captain here, really kind of paving the way for everybody else kind of down the road.
Same question, Brian, for you. How instrumental were the fans in those first number of years? Well, this was a new franchise, played a part in the success both on and off for the organization.
It was huge. There was a bond there right from our very first trip, that summer trip that we came in with Greg Bulls. Toted us all around, and you could see that there was going to be just a tremendous support. I was told that our first year down there, that as being the team captain, that I did over 100 appearances, either on TV, radio, et cetera, to try and sell the game. Beezer had his video out which is quite entertaining. So we rallied around that. We went to the rink, I think, every day with the simple fact that we were not only going to win for us, but win for the people that were supporting us, and they were loud. That was people that played down in the old Miami arena. That was pretty special. We had a pretty special bond with everybody back then, including the fans, and to talk to people that came all the way from West Palm Beach, that drove down to Miami. I mean, that's an hour and 15, hour and 20 drive, and they never missed a Panther game, and then they'd be at our practice the next day. So it was really interesting. The support was just off the charts.
All right. Thing
Go ahead, Ed.
Quickly, it was.
If you've liked this stream so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
For the fans listening now, we practiced. We did our morning skates in Lighthouse Point. Practiced, got all cleaned up, and then we went up down.
Pitball rally, Ali, Eddie.
Right. We'd go down to a hotel in Miami, and then we'd all eat together. So it's almost like a road atmosphere at home. And then wake up, go down, have a couple Mrs. Fields cookies there in the mall before we kind of driving 2 minutes over the rink. So that was kind of a neat experience, right, Screwy? I thought keeping the guys together, for me, it was a lot of structure. You didn't have to kind of scramble after practice thinking about where you're going to eat. It was similar to on the road. So that was kind of cool, too.
Well, those of us with kids back then, too, it really played a big part because it allowed the wives to still be mothers and the kids could still be kids. They didn't have to worry about us getting our afternoon nap. And so it really worked out well. I actually tried to promote that with the team because one of the things we may have an advantage of here in Canada, stuff the kids down in the basement while Dad's getting his afternoon pregame nap. There's not a lot of basements there in Florida.
Right.
All right, guys, we just got a couple minutes left, and this is, I think, is going to be, our fans are really going to enjoy this. Brian, you were the first captain, and there was a young rookie that was drafted first overall that came in, maybe a little bit of a funny anecdote, maybe a little funny story about the rookie Ed Jovanovski joining the NHL for the first time as you as the captain.
Well, we had so much fun back then, and Eddie looked like a 21-year-old, not an 18-year-old back then, so he could join us when we were on the road for a couple of cold beers. But we had a great group of guys. Everybody really took care of one another. I think one of the big things with Eddie and Rhett Warner came in at the same time. Two young guys that really respected the game, respected the people that played it. So I think we were pretty easy on you guys, Eddie, as far as initiation. And on top of that, I guess Eddie just kicked the shit out of me if I tried to do anything to him. So I had to behave myself.
All right, Eddie, your turn. Go for it. Tell me something funny.
We, in the NHL, they do rookie meals. We had ours, and I still, to this day, Screwy, I don't know how you found this place. It was in West Vancouver, where I literally lived when I played in Vancouver, just down the street. I forget the name. But with all the spots in Vancouver, we actually crossed over to the North Shore to have our rookie party. But then we made it back downtown Vancouver for a little fun. So that's one. The other part was I got a car. I got a new car my rookie year. I'm like, I'm going to spend a little bit of my money. Well, it was a convertible. And I came out one day, and I had the whole gym in my car. Weights.
You knew it wasn't me, Eddie, because I didn't lift weights.
Weights, dumbbells, Fitron bike, mattress, name it. And throw some popcorn in there, too, while you're at it. It was good. So, but you know what? The guys were great, Bulls, and the fans. For a young player like Rhett and I, we had some fun together. But one thing we did is we always went to guys like Screwy, Mel's, Tommy Fitz, Stewie Barnes. Always were inviting us, to their house for dinner. So we're a close knit group. And plus, I had my mom living through my first year.
Guys, thanks so much. Brian, our territory members that are watching here today, and your message to them before we close out.
hang in there, and everybody stay safe. I can't wait to watch Panthers playing some playoff hockey again. I know they're heading in the right direction. Some of those young guys. That Jonathan Huberdeau, he gets me out of my seat, and I'm sitting at home watching the guy. So I'm really excited about the future. Eddie?
Yeah, just, being at the rink and seeing a lot of the fans. I just miss the fans, miss the people, miss walking into my booth, getting ready for warm-up hockey. Just looking forward to getting back. But be safe, everyone.
All right, well, thanks, guys. Ed Jovanovski, Brian Skrudlin, two very popular alumni of the Florida Panthers. They're always willing to donate their time. We asked them, they never hesitated. They said, absolutely, would love to get in front of the fans once again, even though it's in this type of platform. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks to all you territory members for joining us here today. Hope to put a little smile on your face here in the midday as we get through. We are going to get through this. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will talk to you again. We'd like to, again, thank all of our fans for joining us here today, and Dex Imaging for helping us bring this platform to you. For Ed Jovanovski and Brian Skrudlin, goodbye, everybody, and stay safe. We'll talk to you. Hi, Lana. Hey. Hi. Bye, everybody. See you later. Love you guys.
We didn't really get to all the questions, but that's okay. Still is fun, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up now. Okay, guys, that's the end of the stream. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications for videos and streams. Okay? Bye, guys. And I'm realizing I'm upside down. Wow.